Hey, thanks for tuning in for another great conversation here on Strong Leader Development Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, you can catch every episode on your favorite platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So we'd look forward to you tuning in and on those platforms. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We're glad you've joined us today. Today we've got Ty Dunn out of little Glen Rose, Texas.
That's right.
Ty,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hey, yeah, I'm a pastor, associate pastor at a church in Glen Rose, Texas, and I've been at this church for about 10 years. I've worked in ministry for about 20. I started when I was 18, mopping a gym and cleaning bathrooms, and slowly worked up to where I get to just be a pastor and spend time with people. So I've been married about 15 years. I've got 3 kids. My wife is a nurse. We are both in graduate school right now. She's getting a master's to be a nurse practitioner, and I'm going to seminary, pursuing a degree, a master's of arts in counseling. So we're pretty busy, but it's been good.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Yeah, good. I remember the days of having young children and doing graduate work, and oh, it's just nuts.
It
So
is, yeah.
yeah, so
That's right.
thank you
Yeah.
for taking time out of your busy life to spend a
Sure.
little time with us, helping pastors become better pastors. Um,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, and you mentioned your graduate work around counseling, and you and I had a conversation the other day, and I thought, wow, this would be a great topic for pastors to have. I've always
Sure.
had
Sure.
this heart for the pastor who gets put in a position where he is counseling. And so many pastors are just not ready for that, not equipped. It's not that they don't have the heart for it, it's not that they don't have the character for it. But
Right.
nobody really gave them much but a quick crash course on do this, do that, and they are stuck in positions of counseling. And
That's right. Yeah.
and I have felt, you know, once I learned what coaching was and how to coach, I thought, wow, this would be much better for pastors to be able to learn how to coach rather than counsel. And
Sure.
you had some details you've actually learned that helped you say, you know what, I want to develop a coaching program for our church so our pastors can coach rather than have to deal with counseling. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, sure. Well, in my experience, I've been a biblical counselor for a long time, and what happens is that you get a bunch of men that come in, they're hurt, or they've had some hard experience in their life, some sort of trauma, and they really need help. And I love those conversations. I love the most important person to me is whoever's sitting right across from me. And so I give anybody who wants to talk in that way, take as much time as you need. What's hard being a pastor, though, is there's so much going on in your church that it's hard to give these men or women, whoever, adequate time. And while I pursue my degree, I've learned that counselors, our code of ethics requires us to not have a dual relationship. And so what that means is it's hard to be a pastor and a counselor. It's hard to help somebody walk through their issues while also being the person that's in charge of whether or not they stay in leadership or something like that. It's not the best for the person who is hurting. And so I wanted to provide a way for our people to get help and continue to grow closer to Jesus while working through some of these issues, where they can go see a counselor, but then also they have somebody just in their corner, somebody that's behind them that cares about them, that can hold them accountable, that can encourage them when they need it, but they can also have that dual relationship that won't affect, their growing in health through a counselor.
Yeah, yeah, and they can sit in the pews next to a pastor and be
That's right.
okay, right?
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
because that whole counseling line that gets drawn it's really difficult because as a pastor, the first thing that pastor is there for is for the flock, for the people who are there. So I'm so glad that you're one of the ones that has taken hold of, okay, we need to rethink this and rethink how do we help the pastor. And the other is, if he's not a licensed counselor and he's learned a few tricks about coaching and being able to just walk alongside, ask a few questions, some people, the coaching is all they need. They just need just a little burst of something, some wisdom from their pastor that can help them. And that's what the pastor has in mind when he sits across and thinks he's counseling, when he's counseling somebody. And so just a few, like, I don't know, you're developing a program, but even a survival guide of how to coach somebody just for 30, 40 minutes, an hour, maybe 4 or 5 sessions, and able to walk alongside them and then be able to recognize, hey, this is bigger than I can do. And we need to get you to a Christian counselor at this point.
That's right.
And then, like you're saying, while they're going through counseling, you're, as the pastor, walking alongside them still at church. How's that going? What'd you learn? Tell me whatever you can tell me, but also I know there's confidential things, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, I think it's huge when men just have somebody that's in their corner. And that's my goal with these coaches, is to put partner men with other men who will just say, hey, man, you're doing a good job. I'm proud of you. But also saying, hey, you stumbled here. I got your back. I want to help you get through this so that you don't stumble again. However, I'm still proud of you. I'm still happy that we're in this relationship. You bring value to my life. There's so many men who don't have that aspect. And that's a game changer. That can get, that's what makes a difference, I think, in men's lives. Somebody who loves Jesus, who will call them out when they need it, and also encourage them, genuine encouragement all the time.
Yeah. And what would you say to the pastor who says, I really don't want to counsel? I really don't want to step into that. How would you guide that man?
I would say, okay, I think that all pastors need some of the tools, because you're going to walk through some triage moments where something happens. Somebody on your team has an affair, or there's a car wreck, something really hard where somebody struggles, and you have to go be a pastor, and you got to go spend time with those people and make sure that they know that you care. But also, I think it's okay if you're not willing to be just a counselor. Number one, depending on the size of your church, you probably don't have time to give that person adequate help. So find people, build a team, lead people like me, that are passionate about that can take that and actually give these people, the best care that we can.
Yeah. Now, you and I, we attend a large church, and we have a pretty large staff. As you try to build in this program for our staff members to be able to coach, some of them are ministry leaders, some of them are full-on pastors, that kind of thing.
That's right.
But what if your church is smaller? You were talking about building a team. What does that look like?
Well, sometimes building a team can be challenging. The ask. I tend, like when I'm struggling with building a team, what I do is I say no for people before I let them tell me no. And so, but building a team is just finding those people that are passionate about whatever you're going into and letting them run with it. And it's letting go of some of it, of the control. A lot of pastors are like, no, I got to do it my way so I can make sure it's done right and people are cared for. Well, sometimes we can't do it all. You just can't do everything. And if you let other people run, and it may look a little different than you have, but then you're able to free up people, give them some ministry of their own, and watch how the Lord blesses them while they also help other people. And that's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. And as you're thinking about a team, in terms of coaching and coaching people, who are you looking for that are in your volunteer base, because your church isn't big enough, you don't have enough staff to help do that? Who are you looking
Sure. Well, first of all, like as a coach, like I'm looking for somebody who's been walking with Jesus for enough time to have some life experience and some biblical knowledge to walk other men through whatever it is they're going through. And so I want them to have been a believer for a while, and then also be willing to commit to walking with people, which means my target demographic at our campus have been uh, a little bit of that older generation. They're so smart and they've walked through things that and I'm 38, and I have some life experience, but these guys have watched their kids graduate and get married. And I want somebody like that for me, because I have a 12-year-old daughter that went to junior high and I was her favorite person. And then one day in junior high, she comes back with all the attitudes and hormones. It's like, where'd my little girl go? And so to have somebody that's kind of been through some of this life experience, but also that has loved Jesus long enough that they're going to keep me running to Jesus as I walk through hard stuff. That's who I want. And so it could be somebody younger, but I want to make sure they know Bible. I want to make sure they love Jesus, and then also have the time and are willing to commit.
Yeah. Well, and as you're working with these people, they have this heart. They have this heart for pastoring in some aspects, actually, or
That's
shepherding, right? And it doesn't have to be some official title, right? It's just you see the talent in the individual and go, hey, could you give us an hour or two a week, because we've just got a lot of hurting people in our church, and we'll give you some guidance, and you can walk alongside these folks.
Yeah.
When you're talking with one of them, what are some of the things that you would tell them that you can equip them with, right?
Sure. Yeah. So I think that in my coaches, what I'm looking for is, I want to accomplish or walk men through probably, I'd say, 4 different areas. It's like a personal life change. So they're looking like, hey, I don't know if I should keep the job that I have, or maybe they're a little bit younger and going, I think it's time for me to get married. What do you think? Or you like me, like I got a kid, that's in junior high now. Help me be the best dad for her. So there's like that life change. And then there's also like the emotional side. So I struggle with anger. I'm mad all the time. I'm looking for somebody that can help them get through that. And then there's a physical health and like nutritional health. I don't know that our culture understands that the food we put into our body affects the way our mind works. And so some men just say, hey, I want to get healthier with my nutrition and the way I eat and my activity. And we can help hold accountable there. And then there's the spiritual growth side, which is just some discipleship. And so as I find these men, I tell them like, hey, I'm not here for you to make sure these the men that you coach are plugged into like getting into a group. That's not our goal. It's not our goal to make them serve. Our goal is to help them meet the goals that they tell you that they have. And so if it's lose 20 pounds, well, all right, we're going to sit down, make a plan that's sustainable. And then I'm going to encourage you and hold you accountable every day to meeting these goals. And so it's not there's not a whole lot of like, we're going to go through this big, deep Bible study, or you may not even have a man that you're coaching that's like walking through trauma. They just want, hey, I'm trying to get better with my finances, And so, all right, I'm going to coach you through it. And so it's about helping these men meet the needs that they present to us.
Yeah. That is so good. And then there's the relational. Some of them just having relational issues, right? And just need some guidance there.
That's right. Yeah.
Very few people don't know the difference between coaching and counseling. And in some ways, they, even when they picture a coach, they picture some person on a sideline somewhere doing a lot of hollering and motivating and strategizing. And that's
Yeah.
really not what we're talking about either. It is more of coming alongside, asking the right questions, and allowing the person to step into what they already know, what they really already know, but
That's
it's
right.
covered up by this thing that's in the way, whatever it might
Sure.
be, this emotional situation, this physical health problem, this decision making deal, this relational
That's right.
issue, this emotional anger, right? So that's our job. But here's the hard thing: our society is an advice giving society,
That's right.
and our pastors are loaded with it,
Mhm.
right? But they're not the only ones,
Right.
right? Because if any of them have been parents, you have to give advice, and so there's this piece where we feel like, oh, I've got to have the answer, and I
Mm.
think that's part of the pressure that happens to the pastor who feels like he has to counsel. I have to
Mm.
have the answer,
That's
and
right.
coaching frees them up to just guide, ask the question, put it back on them. Think about Jesus. How many times did they ask Jesus a question and he answered in a question?
Right.
Right? I think there's
Yeah.
a friend of mine who got his doctorate in spiritual formation, I think is what. Anyway, he's pretty brilliant, and he said, I think he said Jesus only answered like 3 to 5 direct questions.
Mm.
Most everything he did, he asked. He put it back on them, and like, what do you want me to do for you? Right? What
Yeah. That's right.
what
That's right.
what are you looking for? He would ask them questions because he knew it was within them. How do we get the pastor to move away from giving advice and asking questions?
Man, that's a great question. So, first of all, I think that all pastors need to have somebody in their life that's helping them stay healthy.
Yeah.
I think that I see a lot of pastors. I've come a lot across a bunch that feel like they have to have everything all together all the time,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's just the way the enemy gets in our head and tells us lies. That's not true.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for where I serve now because Jeremy, our lead pastor, has really encouraged us to put our health as a priority, our mental health as a priority. And so we have a licensed professional counselor that comes and sees us every Thursday that we can go, spend an hour with. He encourages all of our staff to go through recovery programs like regeneration and re-engage for our marriages and things like that. And that's amazing to have somebody making sure that we stay healthy. And the healthier that you are as a pastor, the more that you understand that it's not about fixing their issues. It's
Yeah.
about loving somebody and letting them see Jesus in their hardest moments or whatever it is that they're going through. We can't fix it all. When you have somebody that loses a child, we can't fix that. Pastors can't fix it, but Jesus can make sure that they're loved and can pull them out of a dark situation. And I want to watch Jesus do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting. You noted that they want to fix something, and
That's right.
the thing is, here's the truth. And I learned this from a mentor years ago. When we are fixing somebody's problem, we're actually fixing our discomfort with what's going on in
Mm.
their life. So they may walk away with some really great advice that you gave. I mean, you felt like the heavens opened up and it just landed on you from God, and you gave it to them, and you're feeling great. But they only go and implement about 2% of what you just gave them.
That's right.
Right. So the idea is to pull it out of them and really walk alongside them and get them to the answer. And then there's this fine line, right? So there is a point where we do need to ask the challenging questions and not just give them a bunch of scripture.
Right.
We can over spiritualize it if we're not careful, and this is just the Lord is going to take care of it, and you just have faith. And they're trying to go, how? What does that
Right.
look like? Right? That whole generalization of faith. So you come back and ask them, so tell me how you think the faith would work. Tell
That's
me
right.
where you feel you're short on faith. What's getting in
That's
the
right.
way there, right? And it's getting back into the questions. Don't just drop in this whole Jesus is the answer to everything. He is, but not from a generalization of, if you'll just pay it a little hard, work a little harder at paying attention to Jesus, it'll come.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So, something that happens as a pastor stepping into counseling is as you walk into that room, and it's so hard to not walk in without having like assumptions, especially if you have a previous relationship with this person. Some people are hard to lead.
Yeah,
Some people are harder to care about, and then they come to you saying, "Hey, I need help."
yeah,
And you walk into it with your assumptions of what they're going to say or how you're going to fix it. And sometimes it's hard to get away from that. And so,
yeah,
as a counselor, to walk in and not have any sort of previous relationship, there's no bias there. And I can sit down with somebody that I don't know and truly make them feel heard, because I have to listen to build a relationship, to gain their trust, so that we can work towards a solution to get them out of whatever, wherever they're stuck. And so
absolutely.
sometimes, men can come forward and they're saying, I'm struggling with porn, or something like that. And the truth is, we have these remedies for that. All right, here's what you're going to do. You're going to smash your phone with a hammer, and or whatever it is. But we never got to the root of what's going on, because
Yeah,
we have our solutions already picked out and ready to go. Instead of saying, "Hey, tell me when this started. What was going on in your life around this time? Tell me about the
exactly.
situations where you're the most tempted," and digging in and finding the root of what's going on, so that they can truly be healthy. Because maybe they stop looking at something they're not supposed to, but they fill it with another vice because we didn't dig out the root and let Jesus free them from that.
Absolutely. Yeah, and asking those questions, getting in underneath it really works well. And so here's the other. You as a pastor know this person, and you know some of the situations that have happened in his or her life. Okay? That
That's right.
is fair game. It just has to be navigated well, right?
Sure.
It's like, okay, I watched this argument that you had with your wife on the pickleball court the other day, right? Instead
That's
of
right.
going down a route of here's what you ought to do and here's what you should have said, it would be more of asking questions about, so what was going on in your heart in that moment?
That's right.
What
That's
what
right.
what was this reminding you of from your past, maybe? And you're projecting this onto your wife, right? And
That's
it
right.
really opens it up into a different realm rather than this whole advice giving piece that our society is just so locked into. We are a behavioral modification society. You think
Yes.
about the way school is treated and the way things happen, and when you violate the law, you have a ticket and a fine, or you go to jail. There's punitive, you're right there, and those things are needed. But we think that's going to help people become the character of Jesus when behavior modification isn't all of it, right? We've got to get
Right. Right.
underneath and what's going on, and we have to do it by questions and asking questions.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
So
right. Well, and as a pastor, you can be, like, that's what I love about our relationship, is that you know enough about my family. You see me in the office at times, and so you know what's going on. And there are times when I can tell you the truth about what's happening in my life, and you can give me advice and tell me, Tiger, this is, I know this person that's a part of this conflict, and here's what's going on. And then when you're a counselor, you can remove all that. And like me as a client of a counselor, I have the freedom to get it all out without fear of any sort of repercussion, and that's an amazing thing also. And so it's good to have both, for you to be like a coach for me, but also like a consultant and just a buddy. We could go play golf, or something like that. And spend great times learning and growing closer to the Lord. That's the coaching side of it. But then also to have somebody in my life that is a counselor where I can talk about everything and not have to put up a wall or make myself look a certain way, as I tend to do. It's not good, but we all tend to make ourselves look better than we really are. To have both of those in your life is the best way to stay healthy.
Absolutely. Well, I could make you feel good about your golf game if we went and played golf.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
I don't.
Yeah.
It would be a good time. We'll just say that.
And then
you'd
be coaching me about my anger, because I could probably throw my club further than I could the ball I just hit. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. There's another piece in here too that I really wanted to address before we finished up. The danger of counseling as a pastor and coaching as a pastor is this concept of I got some awareness. I gained some awareness in sitting with you. Wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. It didn't dawn on me. And there's an endorphin rush. There is a feel of, wow, this is great. And the Holy Spirit's there and touching it. But then they walk away and don't do anything different.
Right.
They don't make a commitment to difference. And coaching can challenge, whereas counseling doesn't. Coaching can come in and say, okay, now this is awesome that you have this awareness. What do you want to do now?
That's
what do you want to do different? And get some commitment. Coaching can ask for some commitment. And then, because you're coaching your flock rather than counseling your flock, you can follow up in a light accountability. Hey, how are you doing on the commitment that you made?
That's right.
How's that going? And in a non-shaming way, okay, you didn't hit the mark. What do you want to do now?
Sure.
Right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's just, we have to watch for that, because it's a vicious loop, and I'm sure you've seen it.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. You even have like in the positions that I've had at my church, I've led a bunch of ministries, and then those ministry leaders would come to me, and I also do counseling. And so they come sit with me and they want to spill everything. I hope that I've built the trust that they do that. But then there's also that fear as they walk out, like I'm going to see them again in a couple hours where they're about to lead or something like that. And, it's like, what is Ty thinking of me right now? Or in that room, it's like, I can't tell everything because he might remove me from leadership, and I'm scared of that, or something like that, And so it's when you're a coach, you can have a relationship with somebody, encourage, hold accountable, help them achieve the goals that they have, and also see them, on Sunday morning or on Wednesday night or whenever your ministry's meeting, and shake their hands and laugh with them and treat them like a person. And as a counselor, I think a good counselor would have that hour with them, and then they go away for a week, and that person gets to process and put some things in place. And then the next week when they come back, or when they're supposed to meet, they get to focus on that one counselor, And so it's just so hard to be the best for the person that needs help when you have all the responsibilities of being a pastor. And then also you want to make sure that these people are cared for well. And so if we had people that can care for people well, but then also other people that are coaching them to work together with these counselors, I do think that that's a very healthy way to help our people grow, to maybe grow up and to, reach new heights in their relationship with Jesus, and to do things they never thought that they could do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know churches see the mental health from the extreme to just some emotional to relational, like you said, and physical, and the churches see it. And I'm so grateful for men like you who are seeing it too. And you're saying, I want to do something. I want to do something about it. And
Sure.
so, yeah, thank you so much for pouring into people and coming up with these ideas and this vision. I look forward to watching this grow in what you do, and I'm always open, like I'm always open to walk alongside pastors and say, well, how do I coach? I don't know how to do that, right? And
That's
be
right.
able to help people grow and learn. So thanks for joining us today, Ty. It's been a wonderful conversation. And
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep. And hopefully we'll do it again sometime.
That'd be great. Yeah. Thanks for letting me come on.
All right. Are you curious about how strong leader development can support your growth? Book a free discovery session with me, and I'll walk you through what it looks like and how I can help you in whatever fashion you need. I like to listen and hear what you have and design whatever works best for you. So reach out and book that free session